What's up, guys? It's your boy Addy here, and today I'm back with another video talking about the NBA Draft Lottery, which is happening today, in fact, Tuesday night. So, I mean, it's huge for a lot of teams all over the country, not just the teams that have the best percentage, because a lot of teams are looking to finally find their star player and try to get out of a huge hole. So basically, that's what I'm going to be talking about. But I want to start by mentioning the game that the Celtics had, Game 7. It was great to watch. I mean, none of the teams that in the second round went to Game 7, so it was like the clutchest game there was. And I really think that both sides gave it their all, but the Celtics were able to, come on top. And Kelly Olynyk, oh my God, I mean, he played so great. And for all the crap that Kelly gets, for being a 7-footer and not having the strength, or he's supposed to be a stretch five, and he can't even shoot that well, and he wasn't shooting that well. So it's great to see that he finally had a great game, and one that I personally expected from like Marcus Smart or something. But it's actually very helpful for the Celtics to know that Kelly can play like that, because now you know that there's a lot of guys that can step up. And Kelly, I mean, he's expected that he can score like 15, 16 points. He can get that much for you, but if he can get into those 20s, I mean, that's a big deal. So, I mean, it was awesome to watch Kelly last night, and he was just raining buckets in that third quarter, and he really gave the Celtics a boost in terms of bench points. But I want to give a hats off to Washington. I mean, they played great. They almost had control in that third quarter, but kind of lost it once Kelly went off and Isaiah answered back with a lot of threes. I mean, the Celtics kind of woke up at the end of that third, really ended the third with a great push, and carried it over the fourth, and that's it for the Wizards. So, the Wizards now, they look into offseason, see what they need to do with Otto Porter and the rest of the free agents, and see. I don't really think they have that much money, but if they can, try to see who they can sign. And last year they had that Kevin Durant chance, but maybe this year again, I don't know. Maybe Kevin Durant wants to go home. Who knows? But I mean, that's what they got to focus on now. While the Celtics are just partying on. I mean, they've got the draft lottery in the books. I mean, they've got the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, hats off to Danny Ainge. I mean, he's like the greatest GM of all time for what he did to Brooklyn. And I mean, personally, I think we really robbed Brooklyn there. But it's all good as a Celtics standpoint to see that your team has the best chance to get the first pick and are in the Eastern Conference Finals are very exciting. But the Cavs are going to be very tough to beat, so that'll be a fun series to see what happens. But getting into the draft lottery, I mean, a lot of people have a lot riding on this. The Celtics are actually in the best spot ever, and I mean, they have the best chance with the least riding on it, because they have so many assets that this draft, I mean, it really doesn't even matter. If they had a bad pick in this draft, it wouldn't have really hurted them that much, because they're expected to get some great free agent coming up, since they're such an attractive place to play at, and the atmosphere is so great. And alongside that, they're always in the trade talks, because Danny has built up such great assets. And I mean, to think that we have the best chance for the best pick this year. We have the Brooklyn Nets pick again next year. If they suck again, we get another great pick. So, I mean, all in all, what Danny did for Paul Pierce, I was very hurt at the time, and I really didn't want Paul Pierce to go. Same with Kevin Garnett. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see this Celtics team, how it's turned out since Paul Pierce is gone. But, I think the Kings, the Nets, I mean, the Lakers, they have a lot riding on this, because they're the young teams, the teams that actually need a star player, a new player. I mean, the Celtics are in such a great position because they already have they're already an Eastern Conference Finals type of team, like competing, and to have the best pick, or a chance for the best pick along that, is huge. But teams like the Lakers, who are struggling struggling to get into the playoffs, or I mean, they have a great young team, and the Lakers are. Lonzo really wants to play for the Lakers, which is, good news for the Lakers because, personally, I don't think Lonzo Ball is going to be a bust. I think he's played great in his college years, his high school years, and I think it'll carry over. I don't personally like his dad, but his stats show for himself that, he'll be a great facilitator for the Lakers, something that to look forward to if they do end up getting him. But, first they have to worry about this draft lottery because, honestly, they could really fall and get hurt pretty bad if they're not. I think they'll be lucky enough to get number 2, which would be the best case scenario for them. I think. Even if they get first pick, I really don't think they're gonna go for Markelle. I think they'll still go for Alonzo. Even though I think they'll want to go for. Even though Magic Johnson has said that they're going to kind of stay on their own foot and not really care what LeVar says, I think it makes sense for them to get Lonzo because, last year they picked up a great shooting, Brandon Ingram. He was a great pick from the shooting aspect, and now if you get Lonzo is very similar to Ben Simmons in the fact that he can also facilitate the ball, pass it around. He's a great passer, along with the scoring aspect of Lonzo, but really that passing sticks out to me. Something that, the D'Angelo does pretty well, but I think Lonzo would do better. And since they just picked up that a great shooter in Brandon Ingram, and they've got other shooters, young guys alongside it, I think Lonzo could be a very good threat for them to have. And I just don't think that, Markelle is a very, shoot first type of guy. And even though he can pass pretty well, too, I don't really know if they need somebody at the 2 right now. I'd really think that they should go for that number 1. And if they get that number 1 pick, I'd say they go for someone like a Lonzo Ball, per se. But, again, Magic has said that he's not going to go for whatever LeVar's saying. And, that makes sense. It's not going to really sway his opinion. I just think Lonzo's good enough to get drafted at least top 2. And, that's why the Lakers have a lot riding on this, in my opinion. I personally think that their best case scenario would be picking up Lonzo Ball in this draft, trying to get Paul George this offseason, and going from there, because that's a big upgrade from their team. If they pick up Lonzo and get Paul George, their team's looking very good because Paul's in his prime years. He's like 27, 28. He's not very old, and you add in a nice passer like Lonzo, and if he lives up to his expectation, what people are expecting of him, then that could be really nice to have a Brandon Ingram on the side. I don't know what they do with D'Angelo Russell exactly because, both of them are point guards. Maybe D'Angelo plays the 2 guard. He is tall enough to do it. So it'll be interesting to see how they work that into their roster. But they have a nice young-looking roster. Larry Nance Jr., Julius Randle, these guys. It's adding up and looking good for them. And if they can get another good big, it'll be really helpful. So that would be the best case scenario for the Lakers. But there's a lot of other teams that really need help right now, like the Kings. The Kings just made a trade that I thought was very stupid on their case. They kept DeMarcus for so long. They really should have asked for more. They didn't ask for much. They asked for Buddy Hield and a few crappy players. If maybe 1 or 2 picks, which I really didn't think he was worth that much. If I was the Kings organization, I would have asked the Pelicans for a little more because DeMarcus is arguably the best center this league has right now, and since he's been stretching out to that 3-point range, he's added to his arsenal. He's gotten better. His worth has gone up too, and now the Kings are kind of in a hole. They're not in a very good position, in my opinion, because they don't have any great potential, all-star kind of guys or players who are ready to, step up or are expected to go that far. The Lakers actually have a good future set up with Brandon Ingram and Julius Randle and D'Angelo Russell, and Jordan Clarkson. These guys, they're young and eventually will turn into great players, and they're showing that already. But the Kings, they lack that kind of youth youth that shows that there's potential here, kind of like the Timberwolves. They're not even a playoff team yet, but people can tell that the Timberwolves will. Their team is gonna be great. So many young guys: Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns. That's a great lineup to have. All these young guys who are turning into and eventually will become great players. So something the Kings really need to work on, and I think Brooklyn needs to really get some great picks and really turn up their scouting this year, because they really don't have any great options this year, and the Celtics have really robbed them of everything for like the next 5 years. So honestly, the picks that they make, even late down the stretch, picks in the rounds, they've got to be top-notch picks, because that's all you get. And it's not like, you can't get good players going deep into the draft. Isaiah Thomas is the best example of somebody you could get for a very high draft, like a low draft pick. I don't know what you'd call it, high, low, because he was 60th, and now he's an all-star. He's on a team that's on the Eastern Conference Finals. He's the third leading scorer in the league. So it's not like it can't be done. It's about how you scout. Like, you need to scout great players, really fit into your system, and the Nets need to do it now more than ever. A lot of teams have stuff riding on this year, and hopefully the Celtics get that first pick. Fingers crossed, because obviously, I want the Celtics to get that first pick. And if they do, it's going to be insane. Having a team that's in the Eastern Conference Finals also have that first pick. It's all uphill from here. It's going to be great for the Celtics. And, going into that postseason, even if they lose to the Cavs, they're going to have a lot to look forward to, because there's going to be some great free agents they can sign, along with a great pick they have. Maybe some potential trades, but we'll see what happens there. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks so much, guys. Peace.